Support your goth musicians, it's so important. Oh my god. If you don't, I hate you. Hello everyone, Adrienne here. So, about a month ago, maybe two. How long has it been? What year is it? I'm not sure. A couple months ago, let's just say a couple months ago because it's almost December, I made a video about the Awakening's upcoming album Chasm and how Ashton Knight, the genius behind it all, needs your guys' support in order to continue making music as well as touring. So thanks to you guys and a lot of other extremely loyal fans out there, Chasm is a reality. And I am so happy about it. Oh my god, my lisp came out. Ah! Why? Why braces? I hate you. Why braces? I got you off 8 years ago. But I still have a lisp. It's terrible. By the way, guys, if you hear my voice crack or if you hear me sniffle, it's not because I'm a druggie. It is because this week has been particularly rough on my severe airborne allergies. I am so sorry. So I'm really sorry if my voice is like rough or crackly or stupid shit like that, or if I'm sniffling a lot, it's because of my allergies, okay? Thank you. So, long story short, Chasm has been made. It is a reality. It is solid, tangible, and it was incredible. So first things first, it's been about 4, maybe 5 years since last The Awakening released an album, and that was Anthology 14 or 15 or something like that. And I really loved that album. I really did. It featured a lot of old classics that we have loved for many, many years with The Awakening, and kind of reminded us how fantastic they are, and most of these tracks were remastered, and that was great. That made me super happy. I loved that. However, this is a different beast entirely, but not in a bad way. So first things first, I am going to get into the musical structure of this album because I really think it's important. One thing that I liked about previous albums by The Awakening is that they did use synthesizers to kind of make their sound a lot more complex, and it was fantastic. Their use of synthesizers in their previous work had been phenomenal. However, I find that in this album, in Chasm, they pulled back on it. They didn't rely so much on the synthesizers and relied so much instead on other instrumentation, such as, you know, vocals, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, definitely some more bass in there, which I really like. It just sounded so good. Ah! Sounded so good. It was a lot more raw, if that makes any sense. It was a lot more raw, and it felt more real and tangible. In a way, because it was so raw, it felt vulnerable. Like it really came out of his soul. Ah! It just made me so happy. So even though Chasm did not focus as much on the synthesizers, what they did with the other instrumentation available really made a huge difference and really touched my soul on a deep level. So, bravo! Bravo, signore! So now let's get on to the next thing, which is lyrics. Yes, I have loved the lyrics and the subject matter of The Awakening for the longest time. They're just so deep, so dark, so romantic, and so soulful. And that's what really made me fall in love with their music to begin with. It was just so real, and definitely poetry for the brokenhearted. Now, when it came to Chasm, whew, this touched me on a whole new level than any previous work did. And that's not to disparage any previous work that The Awakening had done before. Definitely not. It was amazing to begin with, but like I said with the instrumentation, this was just a lot more raw and really deep, and you could really tell that Ashton was really pouring his heart and soul into this, and it really shows. It really, really shows. So the lyrics transcend more than just dark romance and feeling of love and loss and everything that made me fall in love with them in the first place. There is this longing for belonging. Hashtag longing to belong. That's definitely me. And that's how I felt my entire life when I first came into Goth and realized that this is who I was meant to be. So all of the feelings of being an outsider, being different. So all of those feelings of being rejected by mainstream society. So all of those feelings that I have felt my entire life of longing for something better, longing for something bigger, longing for acceptance and belonging to something that's bigger than yourself and not feeling quite so alone, being an outcast. All of those feelings really came to the forefront with this particular album. More than just love, loss, and feeling brokenhearted. This definitely had a little more of that dark romantic rebel. And that's definitely an archetype that I fell in love with when I came across Gothic literature. So the romantic, dark rebel. The Byronic hero. So this was definitely, as far as lyrics are concerned, a lot more rebellious. And in the track Minor Incision, it was masochistic. It reminded me of a quote by Charles Baudelaire: "There are some women who fill you with the desire to conquer them, but there are other women who fill you with the desire to die slowly under their gaze." I'm kind of paraphrasing what he's saying there, but that's exactly what that reminded me of, and I loved it. So lyric-wise, the songs that really touched me the most were the first track of Other Ghosts. The reason why that touched me on such a deep level was the track for the chorus, which was, "And all I wanted was all I need to survive." And sorry, I'm getting a little choked up about it. And that brought tears to my eyes when I heard it, and just the way that Ashton sung it so passionately, it's just like he was crying out for what he needed. And that spoke to me on such a deep level as far as my singing is concerned. Oh god, I'm sorry. Never before have I heard an album by any band that has brought tears to my eyes. That first track really sunk its claws into my heart and yanked on it. I loved it. And that line, "All I wanted is all I need to survive," that resonated with me so much throughout my entire life. So the track Shore you guys are familiar with. I did put a little bit of a snippet in my first video about the upcoming album Chasm, and you guys seemed pretty pumped about it. That made me super happy. That was just so longing, so romantic, and like I said about the rest of the tracks, definitely raw. Oh, love it! And that's the first thing that really got me excited about this album, was when I heard that for the first time when we were anticipating the release of the new album. Just like, I'm excited. So excited. So when I heard that, I'm just like, oh my god, if this track right here is this good, how good is the rest of the album going to be? Really damn good, that's how. Okay, so here's another track that really cried out deep romance to me, and that is About You. So About You was incredibly romantic and thinking of someone who inspires you to keep doing what you're doing. Oh god, here it comes again, here come the waterworks! Ah! But again, it was relying on someone or something that is bigger than you to keep you going and keep you inspired. And even when you do fall and you're feeling miserable and you're in a low point in your life, you can still turn to that inspiration to keep you going. Alright, so the next track that really got to me was Savage Freedom. And this, again, spoke to me on such a deep level as far as the instrumentation and the lyrics together were concerned. It was just so deep, and it shot me right in the heart and set it on fire. It was so great. So, as you guys know, I was raised in a very small town in the middle of nowhere, 2 hours east of Seattle in Washington State. It sucks. It's a cultureless dust bowl full of tumbleweeds that I'm severely allergic to, and let's just leave it at that before I say anything any more derogatory. So with Savage Freedom, I felt like it was about chasing your dreams, being yourself, and wishing for bigger and better places. Again, this speaks directly to my dream to be an opera singer and live in a big city where that will be possible for me, like Seattle. Because Seattle will be my first stepping stone to my opera career. And I'm so excited for that. And when I heard Savage Freedom for the first time, I just started bawling my eyes out because all of the feelings expressed therein was everything that I've been feeling my whole life to pursue my dream. Minor Incision. So this is another one as far as the lyrics and the instrumentation involved. Very masochistic, but very dark, very deep. There was those high notes on the piano and that bass and that deep guitar and just the rumble of Ashton Knight's voice. Really incredible. Loved it. And then the last two tracks, which are Hear Me and Shadows in the Dark. The conclusion of this album with those last two songs really captures the idea of being a lost soul and longing for love and acceptance and being yourself. The lyrics on all of these songs have been incredible, but those were the ones that really stood out to me. Last but not least, vocals. Something you guys know that I am very knowledgeable of. Here's the thing, I have loved Ashton Knight's voice since the beginning. I've loved his deep, rumbling baritone voice and his tone and just how deep it is. He has such a beautiful, sexy voice. I've always loved it. Very soulful. It's amazing. It's amazing. Not to say that his voice was ever bad before, because it wasn't. It was never, ever, ever bad. Ever. Ever. Okay? Never bad, okay? I could definitely tell that he's really improved his vocal technique. So one thing I'm noticing is that his tone and his vibrato, when he does use it, is extremely consistent throughout the range that he uses, and it's great. A bit closer to notes that you can find on a piano, which is nice because, once you hit the note in the sweet spot, it just rings wonderfully, and it definitely does here. Another thing that I really loved about the change in Ashton's vocals, on top of the more consistent vibrato and the consistent tone, is that he's getting braver about using more of his range. So the thing is, falsetto is a range that is commonly used by tenors, usually with male singers. I know there are female tenors out there, but this is typically for male singers, is that they will use a separate register in their voice to go for those high notes. Again, this is more common for tenors, but seeing as Ashton is a baritone, to see him reaching for those higher octaves in his vocal range and going for the falsetto, whoo! It was so smooth. It was so great. I loved it. Ashton, you need to use your falsetto more because it's fucking fantastic, okay? All in all, Chasm is a masterpiece. You can tell he really poured his heart and soul into this, and it was really incredible. It was so raw. It was somewhat of a departure from his previous work, but it was also an improvement on his previous work. And I am very pleased to give him the support that I do and to promote his work on my channel, because it's definitely something that has been so close to my heart for many, many years. And guys, I do want to sincerely thank you for making any kind of contribution to the cause of making Chasm when I first announced it a couple months ago. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. And knowing that you guys love the music as much as I do really makes me happy, okay? It makes me really happy. So Chasm is a masterpiece. It is his best work, and he needs all the love, support, and attention he can get. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this review of Chasm by The Awakening, and I don't know if you were able to see much of it, but I got this along with the CD. Ah! Beautiful t-shirt, and if you want one, get one, if they're available. So I will leave a link for The Awakening's website down in the description below so you can check this out and hopefully snag a copy for yourself. I think it's available on iTunes for digital download, but don't quote me on that. And Ashton, if you're watching, I just want to tell you what an amazing masterpiece this was. You have outdone yourself, sir. And thank you for being such a wonderful musician. Thank you so much. So I have my review of Le Fantôme de l'Opéra by Gaston Leroux coming up, so look out for that. And then I also have another Absinthe review coming up, which you guys, well, I'm excited to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm excited for it, man. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.